Joining me in studio is Tural Akhundov, a research fellow at the Crescent Research Center. Pleasure to have you here this morning in studio. Thank you so much and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you very much for the invitation.
All right, so I want us to begin immediately with the announcement by America. Yesterday, we heard from the Treasury Secretary Besant coming out to call the sanctions to Iran. He basically called them Operation Economic Outcast. They have very tough language for what they are doing against Iran. Obviously, this is a move to cut Iran's financial links. And also what's interesting is that they are also targeting secondary sanctions to any countries that are in partnership with Iran. I want to immediately get your reaction. What did you think when you listened to that announcement?
Yes, well, a lot of speeches about sanctions. They call it the economic D-Day, and I think that it's going to be really tough for Americans to handle those new sanctions, because first of all, we have to understand that Iran has been under sanctions already for around 47 years. And I can say that the more time they spend under sanctions, the more, this shock absorption ability they gain. And for sure, yes, the Americans, they seem to have some leverage now. They can impose secondary sanctions, as they said, on all the countries that are trading with Iran. But the control mechanisms are going to be very difficult to establish, because, yes, there is now the blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, but what are they going to do about the Caspian Sea, because the Caspian Sea remains a gap, and the Americans cannot do anything about that. And the trade can flow from there. Russia can support Iran, as it always does. So, yes, the secondary sanctions are going to be a tough thing to do. But also we have to understand the Chinese moment here. China is a country that has a big trade volume with USA, and it's going to be really interesting to look how this is going to turn out with China. Chinese, just a few months ago, they ordered not to comply with US sanctions. They ordered their companies, everyone, and it's going to be really very interesting to see how it goes.
I'm glad you brought up some of the partners to Iran. Beijing has come out to say they do not accept these unilateral sanctions against the countries that do form partnership with Iran. How do you think that's going to pan out? I know you've said that they've told some of their companies not to foster those sanctions.
All right. So look, I'm going to just outline how it works. The US announces that it's going to impose sanctions on all the countries that trade with Iran. So if China has a hypothetical company that is trading with Iran, because China obviously is one of the main importers of Iranian oil. So this company gets notification from the US side that Iran is under sanctions now. If you continue trading with it, you're going to be under risk of imposition of sanctions. So in this case, China is going to see what is the Chinese company, what is more important for them, what is more risky for them to continue or not, or otherwise they will lose the access to American financial system. So it's going to be, this fight against the risks.
Now, I want to bring in the human element to this conflict, because at the end of the day, whenever there's a war taking place, it's the human beings, it's the citizens on the ground that get affected. AnewZ has been running a story here talking to Tehran citizens about the economic impact. You mentioned that they have suffered sanctions from the US before, but then the citizens on the ground are feeling the economic pressure, rising food prices. How long do you think they can hold on?
Yes, indeed. The people are suffering. There's been a rise of poverty. The educational system suffers because they had no internet, so even they had no possibility to study online. The inflation, etc. But does this necessarily mean that the governmental system is shaking? No, I don't think so. Maybe the people are suffering, but the system is there. It's feeling quite good. And I think that, yes, President Trump can say many things. He already promised to destroy Iran totally, but Already we've heard these for half a year, like 6 months, but nothing close to the destroyment of Iran happened so far. Yes, the people are suffering, but I think that we're gonna see some more difficulties for the people, not necessarily for the government, because they, as I said, have very good shock absorption, abilities.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. Now, I want us to move on then to the disruptions on the Strait of Hormuz. How significant is the new level of disruptions at this particular stage of the war?
Yes, speaking about Hormuz, we cannot say that it is totally blocked, because so far, yes, there was some cargo going through. I mean, mostly the ships, the vessels, they are using the Omani zone. Yes, the cargo is not of the same volume as it was before war, but still a significant portion of the ships are trying to use the Omani zone, and of course convoyed by the US military ships, backed by US military ships. Usually they try to do it at night with transponders turned off, so the Iranians cannot track them. But yes, we can also say that some portion of ships is using still the northern part, the Iranian zone. Yes, they're going through a lot of inspections, a lot of checks. But then again, the situation is like this. We cannot say that it is totally blocked.
Yeah, but there is a dramatic drop in the traffic, though, on the Strait of Hormuz. I wonder then, what does this mean about Iran's ability to control the strait? Because as you've said, President Trump has many statements that he has uttered before, including one that the US controls the strait, but on the other hand, you have Iran now saying they do control a portion of the strait. This dramatic drop in traffic, what does it mean about Iran's control?
Yes, indeed, there is a dramatic drop, because the vessels, they're being very careful now. They try not to risk the insurance. They're having insurance problems. The costs of insurance have risen, and also, the Americans, they're saying that the Iranian naval fleet is totally destroyed, but we have to also remember that they still possess small fleet that is so-called mosquito fleet, and it still accumulates certain capacity to cause some trouble for those vessels who do not comply the Iranian rules that they're currently imposing.
Speaking about Iran's control of the strait to some extent, they're also threatening fines, they're threatening detention and confiscation of vessels. Is Tehran now trying to formalize the control of the Strait of Hormuz in terms of who passes through?
Yes, indeed. They've been having talks with Oman recently to formalize these bilateral agreements of controlling the strait. And we've also heard that President Trump has warned Oman, and warned in a very serious way, not to go for it. And I think these warning can be taken seriously, because maybe Iran is a big country for the US to deal with, but Oman, if we look at the map, is like, of course, as compared to Iran, is an easy thing to deal with when it comes to these warnings. So I think that there will not be much progression regarding this, and also this will create a new reality regarding the international maritime law. So we're going to see how it goes.
So despite the disruptions and who claims to control the Strait of Hormuz, why do you think some vessels are still willing to pass through?
I think that the vessels that are passing through are relying on US protection. Yeah, of course, every vessel takes its own personal risk. It's a matter of money. It's a matter of, the remuneration. So the crew, the captains, the companies, all of them assess it individually. There is no, collective mechanism of deciding, are we going to do this or not? So every vessel takes its own personal decisions, and I think that it's on their own risk.
So how much more can Gulf producers maintain exports with everything that's happening currently?
Well, the Gulf states, of course, are now suffering colossal losses. They're now trying to diversify their routes. Some countries are feeling themselves more comfortable, like Oman, Saudi Arabia. Some have suffered more significantly. Countries like Qatar, Iraq, United Arab Emirates. Some countries physically lost the ability to export oil. Some just had some technical troubles. But I can say that now they're trying to restructure the whole approach. Some of them are trying to invest in reviving the old pipelines. Some are building new pipelines. And I think that this will take a long time because it is also a very costly process, as you may know. And we also will see about that.
Well, that's tricky. If it's going to take a long time, then how much do these alternative routes, how can they maintain the pressure then?
Well, they can maintain the pressure by simply, for now, using the Strait of Hormuz, but of course with the low volume. And also they can use some land, ways to export. But this is the thing now. This is very tricky now, and that is the thing. That is why they're being very nervous now about the whole export.
Yeah. So I wonder then, what is the biggest vulnerability here? Is it the availability of oil? Is it the cost of transporting it? Is it the ability to insure? You spoke of insurance, and to move it. What is really the vulnerability?
I think the core problem is the ability to physically move. Because all the other problems, they arise from this main problem, the ability to move the oil. Even I can say that in the beginning, President Trump set the maximum goal is to get to the point that Iran renounces its enrichment of uranium. But now this became the minimum goal. The maximum goal for Americans, both diplomatically and military, is to open the Strait of Hormuz. And so the physical movement of oil is very important.
Unfortunately, we are running out of time. Tural Akhundov, a research fellow at the Crescent Research Center, joining me in studio. It's been a pleasure to have you on AnewZ.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.